You are Locked On Mavericks Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Dallas, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
That one was tough. Tough loss, capping off a very tough day for the Dallas Mavs. Here we go. Welcome into the Mavs Postcast, your team every day, and in our case, your team every single game. I am Jeff Biggs, happy to be with you once again. Thank you for watching the Locked On Sports Dallas, your destination after every single game. You can also find us on the Locked On Mavs podcast feed. Today's episode is sponsored by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. And coming up on tonight's episode, the Mavs fall at home in the Western Conference Finals rematch with the Minnesota Timberwolves, just like they did on Christmas Day, this time by a point, 115-114. We will talk about the third and final meeting of the season between the Mavs and the T-Wolves. Also, Kai gave it a try, literally. Kyrie Irving tried to do his part to will the Mavs to an upset and a victory. We'll get into what Kyrie did tonight. Also, P.J. Washington put in a new season high tonight in points. We'll tell you about those numbers and well, but the Bigs takeaway to start things off to begin this show tonight has to be all of the injuries, and the shorthanded Mavs, to their credit, made a game of it a couple of times. It was a 1-point game down the stretch, and in the end, they came up short, falling to Minnesota 115-114, a game that they'll look back, they'll go over the film, and they'll say, man, we could have had that one. And unfortunately, it didn't get to that point. But with that said, it's all about the injuries right now with this team. Got the just the stunning news earlier today that Derek Lively is going to be out 2 to 3 months with a fracture in his ankle. Did not see that one coming at all. And you can't underestimate, you can't underscore, you can't minimize enough what an impact Derek Lively is for this team when he's on the floor. I mean, just a energy, defense, poise, shot blocking, rebounding, and he, as I said the other night, when he was initially injured, we talked about it, about how he is just really become an integral part of the offense as well. Just what he does under the rim, what he does in the post, and just all the little things that he does to keep that offense moving and to mix things up. And so to lose Derek Lively like this, huge blow. There's no way to sugarcoat it. There's no way to spin it. It's just a really, really tough loss in what has been a season of tough loss injuries for Jason Kidd and this Mavs team. But that wasn't it. I mean, you thought, okay, I mean, that's bad, right? And then we get to game time, and we get to shortly before, not too long before tip-off, and we find out that Clay can't play because of an ankle issue, and that Najee was going to be out as well because of an illness. I mean, I've said this, multiple times here over the last month, that I know every team goes through injuries, and every team has stretches when they're not 100%, and some seasons are worse than others. Some teams are better. Some seasons are better than others. But I honestly, I do not, in my 30 plus years covering the NBA, I don't remember a team dealing with so many injuries for so long the way that this team has. I mean, hard to believe when you think about it. I mean, it just seems like so long ago, right? I mean, this team was rolling, having won 14 of 17, and they were the the best team in the league, and now they're 3 of their last 14, and now 4-10 since Luka went out on Christmas Day. It's tough, man. There's just no way. There's just no way around it. I mean, it's a star-driven, talent-driven league, and the players need to play. I mean, it's just that simple, right? And so, with that said, no rest for the weary, right? The schedule is what it is, and after a tough 1-point loss tonight, the Mavs have to get on a plane right now and fly to OKC for the rematch with the Thunder, who they beat last week, and what was a great win for the Mavs, but a really bad loss for OKC. So, they're going to be fired up and ready to go for that one at home tomorrow. Nick Anstead did a great job breaking down Derek Lively's injury and his absence and what it means short-term for the team, what it means long-term. And I encourage you, if you get a chance, take a look at Nick's show from earlier today. I know they're going to be coming up here in just a little bit, but I think one of his big takeaways, or his main takeaway, which I think was spot on, is that, okay, Luka is going to come back, and you look at the standings, and I mean, if the Mavs can just hang around, I mean, they got to get going here. It's going to be hard with OKC and then Boston, but hey, if Clay and Najee can get back and they can find a way to find some chemistry, not only with the guys that we know, but I mean, there were a couple moments tonight that were good. They can find a way to just kind of hang around just for a little bit longer until Luka comes back, and then get Luka and Kyrie going together again. The dominance and the excellence of Luka and Kyrie together can really make up for a lot of deficiencies on a roster. I mean, with those two back and rolling, the Mavs should be able to do a pretty good job, and they should be able to win some games for sure. I mean, 100%. So we're close. According to my man, George Sedano, who was doing the sidelines tonight, George and I worked together before, and he said that the plan is for Luka to be examined and checked out again on Saturday, maybe before the game with Boston, and they'll have an update for that big game on Saturday on ABC. So hopefully we'll have some good news then for Luka Doncic, and the Mavs can get him back, and that would be great. And then who knows if I mean, the good news about Derek, he's in great shape. He's young. Obviously, with a big, you don't want to rush it. You got to be very careful with their feet and their ankles, and I mean that, especially when they're that size. But he is young. He's in great shape, and if they treat it right, maybe he can come back just in time for the playoffs. And so we'll see. But it's that just like I said, I don't remember ever covering a team that has had to deal with so many injuries the way this Mavs team has had to do. It's tough, and it is what it is. And usually what happens, you get a situation where you get injuries, or you lose a tough playoff series, and sometimes, believe it or not, sometimes that pain of having your season wasted, or not being able to play the whole season, or not being able to be the best you can be because of injuries or whatever, that pain, that frustration can be a big motivator, and it can be a big push and a big boost. But anyway, we'll talk about that down the road. But in the meantime, the most important thing, that the next thing on the list is the latest on Luka And then also, we'll see what happens before the trade deadline and see what Nico is able to do, if anything. Again, I guarantee you, and this is not me being a homer, this is not me just being a fan. I mean, I guarantee you, Nico's going to try to do everything he can to improve the roster. It's not a matter of wanting to make a trade or thinking about a trade or looking into a trade or making calls or anything like that. You need somebody to do the deal with. You need another team to pull the trigger with you to make the trade happen. I mean, you can wish, that's all great, but unless you get another team that goes along with the deal, then it's not going to happen. So we got to wait and see. We've got a couple weeks to go. We will see what happens before the NBA trade deadline. But tough one tonight. I mean, a 1-point loss with all of the injuries and just being shorthanded. Again, Kyrie tried to lead the team, P.J. Washington, and they just could not get over the hump and could not keep this Wolves team down. Even though the Mavs won the fourth quarter, they got off to just kind of a slow start and just could not. They could not do enough. They didn't have enough firepower to get this win tonight, falling 115 to 114. When we get back, we'll talk about Kyrie and his night and his numbers, and also a new season high for P.J. Washington. Also, want to hear from you, the comment crew. Have not heard from you or checked in with you in a while. Please jump in. Want to hear your comments. What are your thoughts on the team? What is your optimism level at this point? Do you have faith that Luka can come back and get this team back on track and that they can still find a way to finish strong, kind of like they did last season? Want to hear from you, the comment crew. Please jump in right now in our comments section. This is the Mavs postcast on a tough Wednesday night. The Mavs lose by the final of 115 to 114 in round 3 with the Wolves. All right. Well, I talk about this a lot. I love going to events. I wished I would have been there tonight, although maybe not after the way. I mean, I always love going to games, but the way that one finished was tough, right? And so, with that said, game time is the best way to go about getting tickets if you want to go. I love live events, concerts, music, comedy, the whole thing, right? And the energy and the excitement are unforgettable. Well, Game Time has now made it even easier to get tickets for your favorite events with their new feature, Game Time Picks. Now, this feature filters out all the fluff and it shows you only the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste your time searching through thousands of tickets. I had a friend that was looking for tickets to a game, used the Game Time app, and with the Game Time Picks, found amazing deals and could even see the view of the seat from the phone. All right. And the super deal, right? They have the super deal that's particularly impressive, offering great seats at unbeatable prices. Plus, the app's all-in pricing shows the total cost up front with no surprise fees at checkout. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets, right? I mean, take the guesswork out with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. And again, you create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. All right, welcome back to the Mavs postcast. The Mavs fall to the T-Wolves 115 to 114. My name is Jeff Biggs. Want to hear from you, the comment crew. Get your thoughts on what's going on with the Mavs, the injuries, Derek Lively, the trade deadline, and we can talk about this game tonight. And again, quick turnaround. No favors from the NBA schedule makers. The only thing that I have not seen more of than the injuries this season would be the one game road trips that the Mavs have had to play this year. I've never seen a team have so many one game road trips, especially in the first half of the season. I mean, it's unbelievable. They play on the weekend, go to Charlotte, come back, they play at home, fly to Oklahoma City, come back. I don't see the efficiency in that. I know the league and teams don't like to do the super long road trips that we used to do back in the day. I get that. That's fine. But I mean, is one game road trips? I mean, is that where it's at? Is that supposed to be better in some way? I don't know. Anyway, so no rest for the weary. Got to get right back at it tomorrow with the Thunder. Kyrie Irving tonight, 36 points in 38 minutes. Ended up 4 of 11 from beyond the 3-point line, a perfect 8 for 8, right, at the free throw line. But went 12 for 21, and you look at that in such a tight game, and it's just frustrating when, and not just Kyrie, but just for any, if anybody on the team would have just made another basket, they might have been able to pull out the win tonight. But it just was not meant to be. Kyrie also ended up with 9 assists and also had 4 rebounds. The Mavs in the turnover front, not too bad. They only had 4 turnovers tonight, right? If I'm reading that right, I want to just double check, but I believe so, if my numbers are correct. Let me see here. Or is it 4 or 13? I got to take a look. My score thing is like off center, so the numbers are not matching up the way that they're supposed to. So that I was going to say, if it's only 4, that would be really good. Let me check this. I'm doing this live on the air. Want to hear from you though in the comment crew section, please, when you get a chance. Want to get your thoughts. I don't like to read the box score. Okay, no, it was 11 for the Wolves, 15 turnovers for the Mavs. Okay, so that not great. I was going to say 4. I mean, that would have been really good. Rebounding though, it was close. The Mavs were out rebounded by 1, 39-38. The big discrepancy was at the free throw line. Minnesota 30 of 34 with just 16 of 19 for the Mavs, who only went 19 times. And then 3-point shooting, the Mavs that's the frustrating part for me is, threes are not, threes are you're gonna be hot and cold, but you want to see those. You want to see the 3-point numbers on your home floor be good. You want to see your threes at home be a little bit better, right? Because you're playing in your home arena. And so when you end up going 8 of 29 on your home floor, that's a tough one. I mean, that's tough. Minnesota, though, not much better. It was just the timing of it. They were 11 of 29, so they knocked down just a few more. But in a 1-point game, that was enough. Field goal percentage, the Mavs 45 of 90, Minnesota 37 of 81. Assists were close. Steals, Minnesota had 10 steals. The Mavs only had 5. Blocks, Minnesota had 8. Mavs only had 4. We told you about the turnovers. fast break points, and this is where like this unit and this team, and I've always said this for years, bad things happen when you take bad shots, and the good teams find a way to make you pay when you have a bad shot or you don't hit a good shot. And sure enough, with the fast break points tonight, the Wolves with 25, the Mavs with only 8. Dallas did do a lot better in the paint, points in the paint, 66-48. They had the advantage, so that was good. But they just could not get over the hump and could not get enough to get this win, losing 115-114. What about P.J. Washington? Well, he put in a new season-high 30 points to go along with 7 rebounds and a couple of assists. P.J. was really, really good tonight. 5 of 7 at the line. He even knocked down a 3. Similar to Kyrie, 12 of 22 in 36 minutes, but ended up, again, with a new season high for P.J. Washington. Omax, because there was no Najee, because there was no Clay, the Mavs were really short on the wings, and Omax ended up with a 4-point start, but he had a miss at one point, a missed dunk when he was under the basket that just did not look like he was in the right position to try to do that, but ended up with 4 points. Daniel Gafford, who is going to really be under the microscope. Gafford had that monster game on Monday in Charlotte, ended up with 14 points and 12 rebounds for a double-double tonight, but had some foul trouble, and they're going to have to find a way. I know he's trying. He's balling out, and it's hard when you're without Lively now. It's hard for him because he's going to be exerting so much energy on defense, right? And so he's going to have to find a way and find some balance. And for Jason Kidd, right, especially with Dwight Powell out, and it was kind of a joke before the game, but right now Maxey is the backup big for the moment, and to Maxey's credit, he played well tonight. Ended up with 10 rebounds. He knocked down a 3. He had that late drive late in the game when he blew right by Gobert. Put him in the popcorn machine, as the late great Chick Hearn would say. But Maxey's going to have to try to be a little bit more consistent, try to bring a little more offense to the table. Ended up with 10 points tonight, a couple of rebounds, an assist, a steal. Did okay, for the 16 minutes that he was on the floor. But it's going to be very interesting in the short term. When can Clay and Najee come back, and when will Luka come back? Well, if we find out this weekend, the initial report from TNT a couple weeks ago was that the Mavs believed that Luka would play before the All-Star break, which is now less than a month away. So hopefully that will be the case. Quentin Grimes, got a start tonight, and I'm a huge Quentin Grimes fan. Like I talk about this all the time. The young guys, the young energy guys on this team, Quentin Grimes, Najee, I love their game. I love what they bring to the team. And I just wish, I don't know. This might be a case where, Jason Kidd and the staff, I know they want to let the game kind of go with the flow, but maybe they can find a way to run a couple plays early in the game to try to jumpstart Quentin Grimes and try to get him going early. I think tonight, Quentin Grimes played 36 minutes, started, but only ended up with 5 points, including 1 3. Had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, but they're gonna need more from Q. I mean, if they're gonna win, even injuries and everything else. I mean, they're gonna need Quentin Grimes to get his game up to a different level on a consistent basis. We've seen glimpses of it, and those glimpses have been really nice. But like to see him do a little more. We talked about Maxey. How about Kessler Edwards getting 15 minutes? And then Spencer Dinwiddie had a very quiet 9 points, including 1 3. And Brandon Williams was out there for 9 minutes, had 1 basket. And that was pretty much it in a 1-point loss to the T-Wolves. All right, quick timeout. When we come back, our final thoughts. Still time for you to jump in as well via the comment crew. This is the Mavs Postcast. Okay, welcome back. Our final segment of the Mavs Postcast. Don't forget the Locked On Mavs podcast with Nick Anstead and the crew. Isaac, slightly biased. They're going to be doing their thing. They'll have more info tomorrow before the Thunder, and we'll have the very latest on what's going on with Derek Lively, Klay Thompson, Najee Marshall. Huge game, another rematch with the Thunder tomorrow night in OKC. I'll be back with you after that game tomorrow night. And of course, Saturday, we have the NBA Finals rematch, round 1 of that against the Boston Celtics. Hopefully the Mavs will have some people back. And like I said, we'll have some kind of a Luka Doncic injury update. I'm sure they will. Huge national television audience. I think the Mavs will have some kind of info on Luka over the weekend. We'll have to wait and see. But hey, tough one tonight. Mavs, like I said, there's a time to really be critical and to really point things out. But considering all of the injuries in this game tonight, the fact that the Mavs kept fighting and fighting and fighting, they won the fourth quarter, didn't win the game, but I thought gave another strong effort, losing 115 to 114. Hopefully they'll have some energy left tomorrow night, and they'll be able to give a good run on the road against the Thunder. In the meantime, again, want to invite you to join me after the game tomorrow night, and we'll have some more information then. But thank you. Thanks for hanging with me. And again, once again, our final score tonight, the Mavs fall at home to the T-Wolves, their third and final meeting of the Western Conference Finals rematch with the Wolves. The Mavs won the first meeting, remember, in Minnesota, and then the T-Wolves won both games here in Dallas on Christmas Day and again tonight. 115 to 114. Kyrie drops 36 with a new season high, 30 for P.J. Washington, but the Mavs come up 1 point short. Thanks for hanging with me tonight. My name is Jeff Biggs. This has been the Mavs Postcast.